Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. I hope you're doing well. It's Friday, April 8th. Huge news before you go enjoy the weekend. The House has passed a $55 billion aid package for restaurants and other hard-hit businesses. These are grants up to $1 million. It's going to the Senate. I'm going to talk about what's in it, what types of businesses this could help, and what the timing could be. But it's the biggest progress in a while for any aid-related program, so you're going to want to watch this. Plus our EIDL funding countdown, $17 billion left. You can keep an eye on it anytime you want. HelloSkip.com/EIDL. Better yet, if you want funding, this funding or other funding, or you're interested in staying in the loop if and when this $55 billion aid package gets signed into law and how to take action so you don't miss out on anything, you can go to HelloSkip.com/join. There's a few options there. Premium and VIP are if you want to talk with one of the experts on our team. You know, we have an incredible team across the U.S., people who worked at the SBA, worked at banks with other lenders, who've started their own successful small businesses. HelloSkip.com/join. Plus, tomorrow I'm going to open this YouTube package. It's our silver play button. Huge thank you to the 100,000 plus subscribers we've had on this channel. We couldn't have done it without you. And if you're new, consider subscribing. You can say you are part of the first million Skip subscribers. So thanks for subscribing and liking this video to share the news with other folks. You know, if you Google RRF recipients, you will see we're the second result behind the SBA. The same is true for PPP and EIDL. We did this very early on. We wanted to allow people to search to find their business or other businesses, as in who's getting the funding. You know, millions of small businesses have received hundreds of billions of dollars over the past couple years. We have some of the biggest lookups. For example, if you want to search in New York, what restaurants near you got RRF funding? Well, you can see it right here. Blue Plate, Pad Thai, New York, and how much they got. These are grants, $2 million grant, $392,000 grants. Go through here if you're curious. I'll leave the link below. You know, the problem with this program was the funding ran out very quickly. And for a long time, there's been talk about two things. Number one, getting more funding for restaurants across the country. These aren't just restaurants. By and large, anyone that serves drinks or foods. So fairly broad in that sense, but I know personally a lot of restaurants, food businesses that struggled and were left out of this funding. So there's been a push for more funding for about a year. The second has been other hard-hit industries. You know, there was RRF, there was Shuttered Venue Operators Grant for venues, but what about the other hard-hit industries? But this is great news from yesterday. The House passed this $55 billion aid package for restaurants and other businesses. Now it heads to the Senate for talks to reconcile differences over which industries can benefit. So here's where a couple sticking points are, but the vote was yesterday almost along party lines, 223 to 203. 6 Republicans voted with the Democrats, 4 Democrats voted no. So here's the 36-page bill. I went through it. I'll give you the highlights here. $42 billion to replenish a fund for struggling restaurants, food trucks, bars, caterers, brew pubs, bakeries, and more. The measure would also tack on another $13 billion for small businesses that suffered revenue losses of at least 40% during the pandemic, without regard to what industries they operate in, with grants capped at $1 million each. That's a huge deal. Now there's some pushback in the Senate, so we don't know if this version is going to get passed in the Senate, because the Senate has also proposed their own version with some differences here. Basically, they would set aside $8 billion for specific groups on top of $40 billion for restaurants, bars, and other food service establishments. So the House has passed $55 billion. The Senate's proposed $48 billion, and instead of the $13 billion for hard-hit businesses being open, the Senate proposes $8 billion would be carved up into pots of money directed at specific industries: gyms and fitness centers, live entertainment venues, motor coach and ferry operators, minor league sports teams, and small businesses that were cut off from customers and suppliers due to closures. The two differences here are, should these billions of extra dollars that will be for grants be industry specific or not? House Democrats think their industry neutral relief program is better, rather than picking winners and losers. Of course, if we know anything from the first RRF, we know it was hectic. I mean, the SBA did some outreach prior to the go live date. They did priority groups for women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses. Some lawsuits came out of that. but the SBA did try to prep people ahead of time because it was first come, first served, and the funding was spent quickly. But to alleviate some fears of what happened last time, this is an important point to prevent another issue on funds running dry. Both bills stipulate grants would be reduced by equal percentages if there isn't enough to provide full grants to all applicants. So this makes it seem like it wouldn't be a first come, first serve situation, but rather everyone has an opportunity to apply. There's a review period, some due diligence, and then basically saying who's approved and what can we pay out based on that to maximize the amount of funding to the most amount of people, which I agree with. I said this all along. Is it fair for one business to get $2 million and 100 other businesses that are shut out? It seems they'd be more equitable to spread some of that around. So just to share a bit more on the Senate proposal, in their $8 billion to other hard-hit industries, they would provide $2 billion to gyms, $2 billion to live event operators and transportation services like buses and ferries, $500 million for minor league sports teams, and $1.4 billion for small businesses located near land ports of entry that were closed due to the pandemic. And the burden on revenue decline is less in the Senate bill. So the House proposed 40% revenue drop. In the Senate proposal, it would need to be at least 25% below pre-pandemic levels. So that's the quick update here. It's going to the Senate. There's going to be some back and forth. The Senate has their proposal. Would love to hear in the comments which package, if either, you would support. There's the $55 billion in the House that has been passed, $42 billion for the restaurant and food industry, $13 billion for other hard-hit industries, regardless of the industry you're in, up to $1 million, or the Senate version of $48 billion, $40 billion for restaurants and food establishments, so that's $4 billion less, and $8 billion for specific hard-hit industries. Which would you prefer? Drop in the comments, would love to hear. As always, I'll be watching these go through Congress and keep you posted on what happens and what, if any, action you may need to do, and keep you posted along the way with these programs and other programs. Before you go enjoy the weekend, U.S. jobless claims fall to 166,000. That's the lowest level since 1968. The Fed signals a faster pace of rate increases to further curb some of the inflation we've been seeing. And to close the week, U.S. stocks slipped and bonds extended their sell-off. Most importantly, have a great weekend ahead. Thanks so much for your support, and to all of you who've subscribed to help us get to 100,000 subscribers. I'm opening this over the weekend. Don't forget to subscribe today so you can say you're part of the first million Skip subscribers. And if you want to stay on top of this or get funding help, especially EIDL funding help, helloskip.com/join. We'd love to talk to you. Stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you tomorrow.